Charter schools, who's for them and who's against them? Hi, my name is Jim Gibson. Thank you for joining me today. I appreciate it. I spent 20 years on the Vista Unified School District as a trustee, one of 5 people that decide the issues in the district. And I was there for 20 years, decided not to run at the end of the 20 years. But something curious came up, and it was about the fact that they wanted to bring in all the charter schools, and they wanted to talk to the charter schools about their programs, about issues, everything else. And of course, the teachers union was the one that directed the other 4 board members to do this. Let me digress just a second here. Teachers unions don't like charter schools, no matter what they say. They don't like charter schools unless the charter school teachers are paying dues. Most of them do not pay dues. They are exempt from a lot of the California Education Code. So they run their own system, they run it the way they like it, and they have accountability. You know, they have to educate the children have to be tested each year, things like that. I'm 100% for charter schools because it gives parents choice. But in this case, the other 4 board members were directed by the teachers union that they needed to kill these charter schools, and that's exactly what they did that day. They took away their charters that day. Now, make a long story short, these charter schools went to the county granted back their charters. So the school district tried to get those teachers to come back to the district, tried to get those children to come back to the district because they can get more dues. And that was the total motivation of the teachers union. They're not on your side if you're a parent. They're on their own side. In fact, they're not on your side if you're a teacher. They're on their own side. And they do things financially that makes financial sense to them. But anyway, make a long story short, and one of the topics here that I wanted to discuss was, this was very curious because the Ed Code doesn't support this type of oversight where we had to determine how high fences are around the building and things like that they brought up. And I looked at the other 4 board members. I remember looking to my left and I said to them, you know the Ed Code doesn't allow you to do what you're doing here. You can't hold them to the same standard. And in fact, we have fence issues in some of our schools too. So you're actually holding some of these charter schools to a higher standard, and the Education Code does not allow that. And of course, I looked at them all, and they kind of had a curious look on their face. And I said, gentlemen, ladies, did you read the Ed Code? Have you ever read the Ed Code? And they looked at each other, and in a moment of honesty, they said no. And I looked at the superintendent. This is her profession. And I looked at her and I said, have you read the Ed Code? And she said no. And I said, how can you sit on this board? How can you sit on this board and not have read the laws, the procedures, the policies of this state when it comes to education? And in particular today, when it comes to education on charter schools, you're denying all these good charter schools that are producing fantastic results. You're denying them the opportunity to still function in our district because you don't understand the Ed Code and because the teachers union has told you to do that so they can recoup their union dues and get more money into their pockets. And I said, what you're doing is illegal. It is not in the Ed Code, and I am surprised that you people didn't even read the Ed Code. Now, to be honest, Ed Code is about that thick when they used to publish it. Of course, now it's on the internet. You can read it yourself about the section that deals with K-12. I would read the Ed Code when the lawyers would come forward to us and say, this is what you're required to do, it's in the Ed Code. And I would look up the Ed Code, and sometimes it wasn't in the Ed Code. So you really needed to study the Ed Code. Now let me ask my opponents, have you read the Ed Code? Have you studied the Ed Code? It's a lot of legalese, but that's the law. That's what you're supposed to maintain. I bet you that none of my opponents running for State Superintendent of Public Instruction has ever read the Ed Code. Even the person, Tony Thurmond, who is the incumbent, has never read the Ed Code. Oh, by the way, one of his goals, if he gets reelected, he's going to scrutinize charter schools a little more to make sure that they're functioning and serving our children. That is a bunch of nonsense. He receives 100% of his funding from the Teachers Union, the California Teachers Association, and he's lying to you. He just wants to do away with the charter schools. Charter schools are great. Homeschooling is fantastic. Private schools are pretty good. And you know, the bottom line is on all this is that there's no perfect schools, and you can always close every single school out there, but there are no perfect schools. But the charter schools are providing a great service to the parents, and they need to be supported and maintained. Thank you for watching. Again, I'm running for State Superintendent of Public Instruction, and you can vote for me right now if you're in California. Anywhere in California, you can vote for me right now because they've already sent out the absentee files or the absentee ballots. So please visit my website, electgibson.com, and thank you for watching this video. You have a great day.